Our next story is about Emmanuel Macron. Until some time back, he was called Europe's tallest leader. Now he's being seen as Europe's greatest enemy. Wherever he goes, protesters greet him. Here's the latest. What was that protester saying? We are here, even if Macron doesn't want it, we are here. Macron was on a two-day visit to the Netherlands. On day one, he was heckled during a speech. On day two, a protester was tackled to the ground. These protesters have become like Macron's shadow. They follow him wherever he goes. And he's not helping the situation. He makes it worse with his comments. The French president has intensified attacks on the US. In the Netherlands, he was asked about his controversial comments on Taiwan, and Macron refused to back down. He said Europe has a right to think for itself.
France is for the status quo in Taiwan. France supports the One China policy and the search for a peaceful settlement of the situation. This is, moreover, the position of the Europeans, and it is a position which has always been compatible with the role of the ally. But it is precisely here that I insist on the importance of strategic autonomy. Being allies does not mean being a vassal.
Now, to be fair, he's right. Being allies does not mean being a vassal. But you don't say it on public platforms. You let it show in your policies, and you can't really achieve strategic autonomy by grandstanding. For that, Europe will have to reduce its dependence on America. But the French president is only making speeches. And in the process, he's digging a hole for himself. It started with his trip to China. Upon returning, Macron announced his plans for Europe. He said Europe should not be a vassal of America and that it should avoid entering into a conflict over Taiwan. Those comments have sparked a storm. European leaders are up in arms, and the US is trying to play it down, at least in public.
Do you have a response to him saying that essentially Europe doesn't want to be seen as following the United States' lead on China?
Again, I'll let President Macron speak to his comments. We're very comfortable and confident in the strong alliance and the strong friendship that exists between our two countries, and the fact that we have been working together on the continent, and elsewhere around the world with France.
But China is enjoying this. Macron's comments have handed Beijing the ultimate gift, a divided West over the issue of Taiwan. China has mobilized its mouthpieces, and they're all praising the French president. Consider these quotes. The Global Times said, the French president, and I'm quoting, the French president's comments were clearly the result of Macron's long-term observation and reflection. Some people want to construct a false Europe in public opinion, masking true European voices and interests. That's what the Global Times wrote. Next, we have the China Daily. One of his journalists posted this, and I'm quoting again. Mr. Macron's words about EU strategic autonomy and resisting a new Cold War and decoupling will also prove to be a brilliant decision. But here's a small, uncomfortable detail for the Chinese. Macron is not the president of Europe. He is the president of France, and even there his ratings are near a record low. The rest of Europe has not signed up for his plan. In fact, other European powers are in damage control mode, starting with Berlin. The German Foreign Ministry said it is worried about the situation in Taiwan.
Of course, the issue of Taiwan will also play a role in the foreign ministers' talks. We are very concerned about the situation in the Taiwan Strait. Of course, we expect all parties in the region to contribute to stability and peace. This also applies to the People's Republic of China.
Germany is treating this as a full-blown diplomatic crisis. The German foreign minister is traveling to Beijing. This was not supposed to be a high-profile diplomatic engagement, but now the stakes are higher. Experts say this has become a crisis management trip. The German minister is expected to deliver a tough message on Taiwan to Beijing. But it may not undo what Macron has done. Betrayed the divisions within Europe. They're arming Ukraine, but they may not do the same with Taiwan. At least Macron won't. He's clearly going soft on the Taiwan issue. So both Taipei and Washington cannot bank on European unity. With his words, Emmanuel Macron has handed a victory to Xi Jinping. The Chinese president has managed to drive a wedge between the US and Europe.